What's going on, everyone, and welcome to day number 5 of Learn Solidworks in 30 days. My name is Wong, and today we'll learn how to create a YETI mug. By the end of this lesson, you'll learn how to create a 2D sketch, the extrude feature, the sweep feature for creating the handle, the shell feature, the wrap feature to create the logo, and the familiar chamfer and fillet to give your product a nice finishing touch. Alright, let's jump right in. By now, I hope you're familiar with most of the controls and features in SolidWorks. We'll start by creating the cylindrical body of the mug. To start a sketch, go ahead and click on the Sketch tab on the Command Manager. With this selected, we can then see our 3 primary planes. The Property Manager is prompting us to select a plane on which to begin our sketch. As I move my cursor over the planes, notice that they're highlighted in orange. This time, we will select the top plane and left-click on it to make a selection. The circle tool is a common feature used in creating cylindrical objects. We'll go ahead and use that tool to create this sketch. Start by clicking on the origin to place the circle. Left-click once more to complete the sketch. Using the Smart Dimension tool located on the Command Manager, give this circle a dimension of 4 inches. Next, we will create a small circle inside of the larger circle. Instead of giving the inner circle a dimension, we will use the Smart Dimension tool to define the wall thickness of the part by first clicking on the inner circle and then subsequently clicking on the outer circle. This allows you to define the dimension between the 2 circles. SolidWorks will then prompt you to define this dimension. We will give it a dimension of 0.125 inches. Exit the sketch when you're done. With the sketch created, we can now begin to extrude the sketch. Head on over to the Command Manager once more and click on the Features tab. Click on the Extruded Boss tool. SolidWorks will then prompt you to select the sketch that you wish to extrude. Click on the sketch that you just created. We will extrude the sketch by 3.8 inches. Hit the green check mark when you're finished. Using the same extrude feature, we'll add a base to the cylinder. An easy way to do this is by selecting the base and starting a sketch. Point your mouse cursor to the edge of the cylinder. You'll notice that this is highlighted in orange as a visual indicator that an edge is present. Click on it, then go to the Command Manager and click on the Convert Entities icon. What this does is that it takes the edge that you selected and converts or projects it onto a sketch on the same plane that you started. This is useful in situations where you don't want to recreate a sketch, or you want to quickly borrow 3D features and project them onto a 2D sketch. Using the sketch you just created, we will extrude it again to complete the base. Go to the Features tab again and select the Extruded Boss tool. This time, we'll extrude the base by 0.8 inches. Hit the green check mark when you're finished. We'll perform a cross-sectional view on the front plane to get a better idea of what it looks like. Now notice that the bottom looks a little disproportionate from the rest of the mug. This is normal, as we will shell it later to create a hollow bottom that closely resembles a vacuum inside of a thermal mug. On the actual YETI mug, you'll notice that there is a 45-degree chamfer at the bottom of the mug. We'll add the same feature on our model by using the chamfer tool. This tool is located on the Features tab. You'll notice that at the bottom of the fillet icon, there's a small drop-down arrow. Click on this arrow and then click on the chamfer tool to launch it. Upon clicking on it, the Property Manager will launch to your left. SolidWorks will then prompt you to select the edge that you'd like to add a chamfer on. Click on the edge at the bottom of the mug. Under the chamfer parameters, input 0.2 inches for the dimension. This tells you the distance between the edge that you selected to where the chamfer ends. We will also give the chamfer an angle of 45 degrees. When you're finished, hit the green check mark. Spin the model around to inspect the part. As you might already know, the YETI mug is a thermally insulated mug that contains a vacuum within the walls. Since heat can be transferred through the air, this mug is designed to keep heat from escaping by means of a vacuum. We will emulate the effect of a vacuum in this mug by using the Shell tool. You can access the Shell tool by clicking on the Features tab and then clicking on the Shell icon. We will go ahead and select the wall thickness of the part as 0.05 inches. When you're finished, hit the green check mark. Note that this is just a representation of what a mug might look like on the inside, but there can be other objects such as support structures, weld marks, and so on that are not covered on this tutorial. The next thing we're going to do is create a handle for the mug. The sweep tool is a useful feature to use when it comes to creating 3D objects that follows a path. There are two components to a sweep tool to keep in mind. The first is the sketch profile. The second is the path. Whether you create a path or a profile first shouldn't matter, but in this particular example, I'm going to be creating the path first. We will start by clicking on the right plane in the design tree and starting a 2D sketch. I'm going to be doing a cross-section view here, so it's going to be a little easier to visualize this. Go ahead and flip the part around and position it nice and straight before starting your sketch. There you go. Using the line tool, start by placing 3 lines resembling the handle of a cup. Next, we'll dimension the sketch as follows. 1.2 inches from the vertical line to the walls of the mug. 0.61 inches from the top of the handle to the top of the mug. Now notice that the horizontal lines are spilling into the insides of the mug. I don't want this to happen, so I'm going to adjust the endpoints by dragging both of the horizontal lines and then shifting that outwards to the left. Give the distance between the endpoint of the sketch and the edge of the mug a dimension of 0.1 inches. Now do the same for the bottom horizontal line. Give the height of the handle a dimension of 2.5 inches. We will use the sketch fillet tool to round out the corners. This shortcut is useful to quickly create curves around the corners. We will give it a radius of 0.5 inches. Once you're finished, the sketch should be fully defined and appear in black. Exit the sketch when you're finished. A general good practice in SolidWorks is labeling the sketches in the design tree so that you can easily reference them when creating the sweep later. I'll go ahead and rename sketch 8 as sweep path. Now let's shift gears right now to create a sweep profile. This can be accomplished by creating a plane that is positioned perpendicular to the endpoint of the sketch path. It is critical to note that the sketch profile must be in contact with the sketch path for this to work. Go to the Command Manager once more and click on the Features tab. Click on the Reference Geometry icon, then click on Plane. SolidWorks will then prompt you to define how you want a plane to be positioned. Click on the first endpoint on the sweep path as the first reference. Click on the second endpoint as the second reference. Finally, select the right plane as the third reference. When done correctly, you should see a green message that reads Fully Defined in the Property Manager. What this means is that SolidWorks is able to create a plane based on the references that you've provided it. Rotate the sketch around a little bit to confirm that this is the correct positioning of the plane. When you've confirmed that this is what you want, click on the green check mark. Using the new plane you've just created, we will start creating the sweep profile. Click on the plane in the design tree. Head on over to the Sketch tab again and create a 2D sketch on this plane. Rotate the model so that the plane is normal to the sketch. Click out of the cross-section view. Make sure that the sweep path is visible. If you are unable to see the sweep path, you may have to right-click on a sketch in the design tree and unhide the sketch by clicking on the icon that resembles an eyeball. We will use the center point straight slot tool to create this sketch. You would want to click on the end of this point of the sweep path, as this is where we want to start our sweep profile at. Notice that as soon as you start clicking on it, a horizontal line is shown. Click on it again to place the sketch. Make sure that the center point of the sketch is coincident to the endpoint of the sweep path. Sometimes you might want to move the undefined sketch around so that both the endpoints are easily identified and constrained. Next, we'll start dimensioning the sketch. We'll give the sketch a height of 0.2 inches. We'll give the sketch a width of 0.68 inches. When you're finished, exit the sketch. Go ahead and rename Sketch 10 as Sweep Profile. With both the sweep profile and the sweep path created, you are now ready to use the sweep tool. Head on over to the Features tab. Click on the Swept Boss Base tool located in the Command Manager. SolidWorks will then prompt you to select a sweep profile and a sweep path. The sweep profile is already selected for you since you clicked on it, but the only thing missing right now is the sweep path. Click on it to complete the prompt. After you have selected your sweep profile and a sweep path, SolidWorks will then show you a quick preview of what this might look like. When you're satisfied with what you see on the screen, go ahead and hit the green check mark. You'll notice that although the handle was created, there's still a visible gap that's in between the handle and the body of the mug. We will close this gap by simply using the Extrude Boss feature. Head on over to the Sketch tab once more and create a sketch on the first face located on the top of the handle. SolidWorks will then prompt you to select the face that you want to create your sketch on. Ensure that the face is selected and highlighted in blue. Now click on the Convert Entities icon to convert the first face into a sketch. Now do the same for the second face located at the bottom of the handle. After you have converted the entities into sketches, you are now ready to extrude the sketch. Head to the Features tab and then click on the Extrude Boss tool again. Now, instead of using the blind option, which extrudes a sketch a predetermined distance, we want SolidWorks to extrude it to the surface of the mug. You can do this by clicking on a drop-down menu and selecting Up to Next. This tells SolidWorks to extrude the sketch up to the next available solid that it comes in contact with. This makes your job a lot easier rather than having to manually calculate the distance of the gap. When you're finished, hit the green check mark. The next thing we want to do is split the mug into two different colors as shown in the beginning to reflect the stainless steel color on the inside and a green color on the outside. We will utilize the Split Line tool to accomplish this. This tool splits the face into two separate faces, which can come in handy when you're trying to assign different colors to one or more faces. With the Features tab selected, let's create a plane that is offset by 0.5 inches away from the top plane. Select the top plane as the first reference and set the offset dimension as 0.5 inches. Hit the green check mark when you're done. With the new plane selected in the design tree, click on the Curves tool and click on the Split Lines option. There's a few different options you can choose from, but the one we're looking at is the intersection radio button. You're telling SolidWorks that, hey, I want to create a split line that intersects a plane or a face. Click on a plane that you just created, and then click on the body of the mug. SolidWorks will then show you a preview of what a split line looks like. Click on the green check mark to confirm. With the split line created, go to the Appearance option located on the side of SolidWorks and click on it to reveal several different color options you can choose from. I want the interior of the mug and the top rim to be in a brushed stainless steel color. Click on the metal folder. Now click on a small drop-down arrow next to the folder to reveal a list of different steel-colored options that you can choose from. Click on Steel, and then drag the brushed steel color to the rim of the mug. SolidWorks will show you a menu option of where you would like to apply the color to. Click on the Face option to apply the color to a single face. Now, do the same for the rest of the faces in the interior side of the mug. There you have it. We will apply a different color to the exterior side of the mug. This time, let's select the solid color option. Green is my favorite color, so I'll go ahead and drag that onto the mug. Apply that to the rest of the exterior faces in any order that you choose. One thing I would add is that you can always go back to the Property Manager in the Appearance tab to edit or change the colors at any time. For example, if I want to change this green to a different shade of green, I would just right-click on this color and click on the Edit Appearance option. You will notice that there is a color palette at the bottom that has different colors you can choose from. I like teal, which is a variant of green. I'll click on the various colors on the palette until I am satisfied with the color that I've chosen. You may play around with the colors until you get the one that you like. Alternatively, you can also specify an RGB value, which can be convenient if you're trying to import a color into SolidWorks. When you've confirmed your color selection, go ahead and hit the green check mark. Finally, I would like to add the YETI logo to the mug. We will learn how to use the wrap tool for this example. To create text on SolidWorks, you can easily accomplish that by creating a sketch line that runs across the lower part of the mug. Click on the right plane on the design tree, and then click on the sketch icon to begin your sketch. Make sure that the plane is normal to the direction of the sketch if not already. Using the Construction Line tool, draw a line starting from the left edge of the mug to the right edge of the mug. We will dimension the sketch line about 0.2 inches away from the bottom edge of the mug. Once you've created your sketch, you can then use the text tool to type words or phrases onto the sketch line. I'll go ahead and type in YETI into the text field. Now, notice that the font is a little on the smaller side, so we'll fix that in a second. But first, Check that the font is oriented correctly and it is displayed in an upright format. If it's not, you can use the flip horizontal or flip vertical options to adjust the text accordingly. To adjust the font type, you need to uncheck the Use Document Font checkbox and then click on the font button that appears. The font that YETI uses is very similar to the Arial black font. Let's choose the font in the list of available fonts. Set the units to 0.6 inches to enlarge the text. Click OK to exit out of the screen. Next, we want to also center align the text. Click on a green check mark when you're ready. Exit the sketch. Now you're ready to use the Wrap tool. The Wrap tool is useful in situations where you want to create an embossed feature out of a text created on SolidWorks. Before launching the Wrap tool, make sure that you click on the sketch that you just created. Now, head on over to the Features tab and click on the Wrap tool in the Command Manager. There are a few different options that are presented in the Property Manager. For this example, we want to use the Emboss feature and also the Analytical Wrap method. Under the Wrap parameters, select the face which you want the logo to be embossed at. Now, give it a dimension of 0.01 inches. This represents the amount of material or distance that is being embossed out of the surface. When you're finished, hit the green check mark. Now for the final step. Change the appearance of the YETI logo you just created by going to the Property Manager and clicking on the Appearance tab. Drag the teal color that you just created to the logo. Select the second icon from the left to tell SolidWorks to change the color on the entire emboss feature that you created. There you have it. This was a long tutorial, but again, thank you so much for your time and I hope you learned something new today. Don't forget to tune into the next tutorial and we will see you soon.